This video shows how shared folder and NTFS permissions work together to provide security for disk resources. Let's start by comparing shared folder permissions with NTFS permissions. A shared folder provides users with access to disk resources on a network server. Once a user connects to a shared folder, the user's assigned permissions apply to all folders in the hierarchy. When you assign permissions to a user and also to a group of which the user is a member, the user's effective permissions are the combination of the user and group permissions. For example, if you assign a user read and you assign a group change, the user's effective permissions are both read and change. However, if one of the assigned permissions is no access always becomes the effective permission. NTFS permissions provide security on folders and individual files. Like shared folder permissions, a user's effective permissions are the combination of the user and group permissions, with the exception of no access. Unlike shared folder permissions, NTFS permissions can be assigned to other folders and files in the same hierarchy for additional security. In this next section, we'll look at combining shared folder and NTFS permissions to achieve the highest level of security. First, let's look at a problem that can occur when you try to secure a folder hierarchy using only shared folder permissions. Let's say that you want all users to have change permission for public so that they can create, modify, and delete files. At the same time, you want all users to have only read permission for Employee Handbook. As you can see, users with change permission for public also have change permission for Employee Handbook. Therefore, the hierarchy is not secure. Now, let's look at how assigning NTFS permissions can solve this problem. First, share public and assign all users change permission. Next, assign all users the NTFS read permission for Employee Handbook. Now, all users have change permission for public, but they are restricted to read permission for Employee Handbook. This is because when you combine a shared folder permission with an NTFS permission, the most restrictive permission becomes the effective permission. Likewise, if users have the shared folder read permission for public and the NTFS change permission for Employee Handbook, the effective permission is the shared folder read permission because it's the most restrictive. To review, a shared folder provides users with access to resources on a network server. A user's assigned permissions apply to all folders in the hierarchy. A user's effective permissions are the combination of user and group permissions, with the exception of no access. NTFS permissions provide security on folders and individual files. Like shared folder permissions, NTFS permissions combine, with the exception of no access. Unlike shared folder permissions, NTFS permissions can be assigned to other folders and files in the same hierarchy for additional security. When shared folder permissions are combined with NTFS permissions, the most restrictive permission becomes the effective permission. Together, they provide the highest level of security for folders and files.